country, scenes like this one in central Ukraine are a common sight: wreckages of power plants. The tactic is familiar, the weapon, until recently, was not. A kamikaze drone seen here after an attack on the other side of the country in Kharkiv. Cheap, self-detonating, and unmanned, they are a new weapon in Russia's war on Ukraine. The markings say Geran 2, but this is no Russian-made weapon. Its name is Shahed, designed and manufactured in Iran. Known as a loitering munition, it can circle a target, and the lightweight airframe can travel long distances. The U.S. government says a Russian delegation traveled to Iran in June to inspect the drones, seen here in satellite imagery obtained exclusively by CNN. In recent weeks, Russia has massively stepped up its use of the drones, evidence posted on Ukrainian social media on a near daily basis.
The enemy is trying to save up on cruise missiles, various caliber types. These Shaheds are firstly much cheaper, they can be used much more frequently, and they work in pairs.
Ukraine too uses kamikaze drones like the much smaller U.S.-manufactured Switchblade, though there is no evidence to suggest Ukraine has used the weapon against anything but military targets. Ukraine's air defense has been fairly successful in downing Russia's drones, but the fact that they are so cheap has the Ukrainians worried and plays a big part in their push this week for more Western help with air defense. Ukraine's President Zelensky says Russia has ordered 2,400 kamikaze drones from Iran. Officials here fear that as Russia increasingly targets population centers, kamikaze drones are a growing part of the arsenal.
And Aaron, the Ukrainians say that the existence of these drones and the fact that they're being used so often right now on the battlefield, including here in the area around Kiev, it just shows how badly they need those Western air defense systems. In fact, the president of this country, Volodymyr Zelensky, he told European lawmakers today that the Ukrainians right now only have about 10% of the capabilities that they actually need. Now, we know the U.S. is trying to get additional systems here to Ukraine as fast as possible. Some European countries have also pledged some as well. And today, NATO has also pledged specifically anti-drone equipment just because that threat is so big, Aaron.
All right, thank you very much, Fred from Kyiv. And I want to bring in Matthew Chance now, our senior international correspondent. He joins me from Moscow tonight. Matthew, it's pretty stunning when you hear this, thousands of these being ordered. What more can you tell us about this now extremely crucial and growing relationship between Russia and Iran?
Well, that relationship, Aaron, has been pretty long-standing and actually stretches well back into the Soviet Union, but has also been consolidated over the past couple of decades because Russia has been so supportive of Iran when it comes to developing its nuclear program. It's contracted to build a network of nuclear reactors across the country, and so there's been a lot of exchange of technology in that regard. And then, of course, Russia and Iran effectively fought side by side in Syria and continue to do so, backing the government of Bashar al-Assad against the rebels in that country. And so they've been very close in military terms as well. So it's in a situation where Russia is very isolated in the world, as evidenced by the UN General Assembly vote yesterday, in which 143 countries voted for Russia to lift its annexation of Ukrainian areas. It's not surprising that it's still very, very close to Iran.
So one thing, though, in this is, and you heard the Ukrainian government official speaking there, Russia has used a lot of its cruise missiles, right? They've used a lot of their arsenal. Their tanks have been massively destroyed, right? Their ammunition. There's been all sorts of reports that they are struggling to replenish any of this, and that the drones perhaps are filling that gap. Is that part of what's happening here, that Putin's arsenal is just so depleted, this is all he can afford and deliver?
I think it's part of it. We've definitely seen plenty of evidence that Russia may be running low of ballistic missiles. They are very costly to build. Of course, they cost millions of dollars each time Russia constructs a cruise missile. They're heavily dependent on Western technology, circuit boards and things like that, which have become short in supply because of the sanctions that have been imposed against Russia. And so, yes, Russia still wants to maintain that pace of strikes against various targets inside Ukraine. And so one way of doing that is with these relatively cheap Iranian drones, which can keep on sort of striking into the Ukrainian heartland and making their military presence felt, Erin.
All right, Matthew Chance, thank you very much.